Welcome to another edition of It's Still Real to Me. Always everything Zaslow Show 2.0 presented by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733 if you're involved in any kind of accident. If you're dealing with a personal injury, Anidjar and Levine gets you the money that you deserve. You take care of making sure that you're healthy. They take care of everything else. You get into an accident, you call 911 first. Then the next call you make, you get an attorney on the phone immediately. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. After taking a week off, if it's still real to me, my pal Joey Levine joining us here. I'm sure you got a lot to say. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to get into the world of pro wrestling. Good morning, Joey.
Morning, Zaz. Yeah, I got a few things on my mind. There's plenty of things that we have to catch up on after taking a week off. So I'm ready to roll. Let's do it.
I really think the first thing I want to ask you here, first thing I want to get to here, and it's over a week old, but the last show that we did, of course, we're talking 2 weeks ago. We were both very concerned because the Raw after Mania was a disaster. All right. And you don't know what to believe, what's true, what's not true, but it certainly seemed like Vince McMahon was running the show. So I was very curious then, what was SmackDown going to look like? And then the next week of shows. And it would appear, right, that was a one-off. Vince hasn't really been involved with the other shows since then. Right? Like, it feels like things are back to normal, right?
I wouldn't say totally. I don't think things are back to where they were the last 6 months or so, even the year of whatever it was, Triple H being 100% every decision was Triple H. I think that that Raw set the bar so low, that maybe now that things are relatively back to where they were, we're like, okay, it's good. But there's still things that are happening where I'm like, it still feels like Vince has a hand in it. Not that he's in control, but it definitely feels like there's things happening that Vince is, his hand is there.
But things are also still kind of in a weird spot where we're in this. I mean, I don't have the premium live event schedule in front of me right now, but we're in this holding pattern where we can't have anything too cool happen just yet because we're trying to work on what would you say is the next big show? Money in the Bank?
So if you want to get into it, I think because there's 2 premium live events in May. There's Backlash.
Right, which is not a big show. It's not a big show.
And now, and it's even less of a big show now because King and Queen of the Ring, which was supposed to be the Saudi event on May 27th, is now Night of Champions. May 27th, which also will be the 1,000th day of Roman Reigns' title reign.
Okay, so Roman's he's gonna fight, and just the name,
which is my assumption is they changed it to Night of Champions to celebrate him on his 1,000th day.
But that's still not. But so are you considering Night of Champions to be a big show then?
I'm considering this Night of Champions to be a big show. I think they are. I think Backlash is already a throwaway. I just think they've already basically told us, well, Roman's not on the show, so it's not.
And the show's going to be built around Bad Bunny.
Right.
It's what it is.
We're going to get Cody and Brock, obviously.
Yeah,
but to me personally, I understand Cody and Brock's going to be the main event, but I actually think it should be the LWO with Bad Bunny should be the main event. Give the people of Puerto Rico something to go home. I mean, they'll be happy with Cody going over on Brock, but Bad Bunny getting a pin on Dominic in Puerto Rico to end the show. From that, if you're not going to give him Roman Reigns in important matches, you're not going to get a tag title match, it looks like, because they're fighting in 2 weeks. So they're fighting in 2 weeks on SmackDown. It looks like that's going to be a triple threat, right? Probably with Riddle. So that show already looks kind of like a throwaway. And now they've changed the name to Night of Champions. It seems like Night of Champions is not always a big deal, but it feels like this year they're going to make it a big deal.
Let me ask something. Did they change the name of the show or did they replace the show? And the difference being, are they still going to do King and Queen of the Ring at Night of Champions?
Yeah, so they haven't officially said, but from everything I've read, it sounds like King and Queen of the Ring will not happen that night.
So they right. Okay,
it may go. They may do it. Yeah, they may do it. It sounds like they may do it like on like SmackDown, Raw, like how they've done it in the
I
past.
hope they devote a premium live event to it. Like I like doing a tournament in one night the way that it used to be. Let me ask you something. Did they change the event? Did them changing it to Night of Champions have anything to do with crowning a Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia? Am I just looking too much into that?
No, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. I honestly think, and I could be wrong here, but this is everything I've seen on the internet. That's the 1,000th day. I think they changed it because of that. I really think that they changed it because of that.
Because that's a legitimate thing for me to wonder, right? Like we know the history there. They do not treat women well. And to WWE's credit, they've done a really good job over the years in having the women involved. And at least when it comes to these types of shows, really kind of sending things in the right direction in that ass backwards country,
Right.
So the first thing that I was wondering was, wow, to crown a Queen of the Ring.
That's a good point. But they've had women's matches there, but not.
Yeah, but they're not saying, "Hey, you're the queen." You're the queen.
Right.
That's a little bit different.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it could play into it. It could certainly play into it. But they also let's be honest, Queen of the Ring is a pretty new thing. Mm-hmm. They could just do a King of the Ring pay-per-view and do Queen of the Ring as a separate. They don't have to do them both on the same pay-per-view. Because that's also, if you're going to do the whole tournament in one night, that's a lot. That's two whole tournaments in one night. That's a lot. Could separate it. You could separate it.
It's a
lot.
You
could just do King of the Ring. But either way, I feel like this is, you don't have Roman on Backlash. I think this is to have a big Roman moment. It seems that way.
So let me ask you.
But here's the other thing there.
Yeah.
I want to point something else out to you. It's Night of Champions. Night of Champions, every title has to be defended, right?
That's right.
That's the whole gimmick. Sami Zayn doesn't go to Saudi Arabia. They're fighting in 2 weeks.
So do they lose the titles before that?
A lot of people are very concerned that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I would say that looks to be the direction we're headed in. When's the show? It's end of May.
It's the end of May, but it looks like. But they're defending against the Usos on SmackDown in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you had the whole promo with Paul Heyman standing behind the Usos, not next to them, standing behind the Usos, telling them that the tribal chief is
becoming impatient with you.
Yeah, right.
That was great. That was great. That was well done. That was. I'm
still annoyed. I mean, look, WWE has really gone in the direction, and I like this direction of long-term storytelling. We're not feeding everybody things right away, but I do. There is a part that I'm bothered with that I haven't seen. Look, we're over 2 weeks out now, and I haven't had a single confrontation of Roman with the Usos. The Usos losing the tag titles has not been addressed whatsoever, even among themselves, let alone with Roman Reigns. So again, long-term storytelling, I'm in on it, but I don't know. I am surprised that I haven't had any kind of interaction. You got to give me something other than Paul Heyman saying the tribal chief is angry. How could I not have gotten Roman Reigns, voicing his displeasure? We've gotten nothing in regards to the Usos losing the Bloodlines tag team championships. That part's weird to me.
And Roman hasn't been on TV since
he was on Raw after Mania.
Since Raw, right? Since Brock attacked Cody. That was the last time we saw Roman.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I guess last night was technically Roman Reigns communicating to the Usos through Paul Heyman, but that's it. Yeah, that's all we've got.
But still, I got to get something. Forget the communicating with Paul Heyman. You got to give me Roman, confronting them. Why the hell did you, what the hell happened that night? You let those guys take our belts. We got nothing in that regard.
And meanwhile, it looks like Solo's getting pushed to the moon.
Yeah,
right.
Well, which I mean, he's so obviously a main eventer. He really
is. But it's a lot, right? It seems like a lot. He main evented twice, and he spoke. He actually spoke, which is crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was so surprised because I was envisioning the first time he ever speaks is way down the road. And it's like him challenging Roman Reigns for the titles, you know?
Yeah. And then after at the end of SmackDown, they do the close up of him and he's yelling something in Samoan.
All right. So I would imagine, is that the same to you? Same to you yelling things in Samoan as speaking, in English? Is that the same thing? Like, is there a difference? But is there a difference between?
Oh,
like,
you mean just the fact that he spoke?
Yeah. Is there a difference between the two?
Listen, I don't remember how long ago this was now, but we've been trying to figure out forever who's going to be the one to go against Roman, who turns on Roman, whatever. And remember, I brought up the point that Roman didn't choose Solo.
Right.
The elders chose Solo.
But why would the elders then want Solo one day to turn on Roman?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, it feels like there's some level of, like, maybe again, he is the Usos' younger brother and he's the enforcer. At some point, does he get sick of Roman Reigns torturing his brothers and just turn on Roman?
At least not right now. Like, I do like it how it's such twin bullshit, where like the twins treat each other so different than they treat their younger brother. He is not on their it's not the same relationship,
And also just like, we reference that he's their younger brother and we talk about that stuff, but he has a completely different name. So that's also kind of weird to me. Like, they are the Usos and he is Sikoa.
Yeah, but, Undertaker and Kane, no last names. They're brothers.
Well, they didn't have last names. Their last name is Bearer, right? So, I mean,
have there been other brothers who did not have the same name? Now, Edge and Christian were never presented as brothers, right?
Nope. The brother. Yeah, I don't.
Have there been other brothers that did not have the same name?
Yes.
Who?
Bray and Bo.
They were never presented as brothers, though.
Oh, they weren't presented as brothers, but they are brothers.
No, you got to be presented as brothers.
No. Well, because I just don't think, like, it's very rare that there's three. Like, it's usually, if they're brothers, they're like a tag team. I think it's rare that there's brothers and then a third brother comes in.
There's got to be someone we're not. Well, our man Victor is going to be researching it right now as he's listening to this show. It has to have happened at some point in time that dudes were presented as brothers, and they are brothers, but they're presented as brothers and did not have the same name. There has to be another example.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to have to go. We're probably going to have to go probably pretty far back. Like, not in recent times. I just don't even know. I'm trying to think of even in recent history, brothers, right? Mm-hmm. There's like the Jacksons, right? The Young Bucks.
What about, what about Booker T and Stevie Ray? Like Booker T was never presented with a last name, and Stevie Ray, I feel like his name is Stevie Ray. I don't feel like Ray is his last name.
No, those guys didn't have last names. Nope.
Yeah, they didn't have last names.
Yeah, so I don't know, but like, who are there any other Young Bucks, the Usos? Are there other current brothers that you can think of?
I don't know.
I'm sure there are. And we're just not thinking of it.
It's a good question.
But yeah, because generally they're brothers. Like, you don't even need their last names, right? Like, a lot of times you don't need their last names. The Usos and the Jacksons are like the rare thing.
Yeah. So who is okay? So if Roman's going to fight 1,000 Days, Night of Champions, who is Roman Reigns' next opponent? Like, there's a part of me that was hoping that Roman's next opponent, and it certainly won't be for him to just beat for 1,000 days, so it wouldn't be this quick. But there's a part of me that's hoping it's Randy Orton. I have no idea what's going on with Randy Orton and his injury, but Randy Orton 1,000% poses a very credible threat if he were to return and challenge Roman Reigns. Everyone can totally believe Randy Orton can beat Roman Reigns, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like Randy Orton's anywhere near returning.
I don't think so. I could give you someone I think, because they've already torn the house down in Saudi Arabia once.
Who?
Logan Paul.
Oh, right.
Because I don't think if the whole thing
about but it needs to be a baby face. You got to get baby face against him.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true.
It's got to be a baby. And at that time, they were trying to present Logan Paul as a baby face.
Right. I don't know. I just genuinely have no idea.
I don't know either.
you've done everything. And I don't think the Cody rematch comes so soon.
Well, the draft is coming in a couple of weeks, right? So the draft is going to help set up who that could be. You know, could it be someone like Sheamus?
No, I don't think so. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, it could be anybody. Has to be a babyface, right?
How about this? I may have.
I mean, Rollins.
Nah, that can't be. That needs to be a big build. That can't be for Night of Champions. I'll tell you who I think it could be. They never got around to it the first time. They teased it. I don't know what the hell happened. And he just returned in a very big way. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Sure.
It could be Nakamura.
Would love that. I mean, I think everyone would love that.
They teased it, remember? And then it just vanished. And it looked like it was going to be a cool thing. And they never went through with it.
It would be such a quick turnaround. He comes back and now he's just fighting Roman I don't know. It just seems quick.
Well, the show's in what, a month and a half? It's not that quick. Right?
Yeah,
Is it at the end of May?
Yeah.
It's not that quick.
Right.
And I could, and look, he's obviously, I mean, Nakamura is not like a credible threat to beat him, but that'd be a good program. That'd be a good match.
Yeah, it'd be fun. He's a good, I mean, it would be cool to see Nakamura, who,
and the way that they presented him this week when he returned, like they made it seem like it's a big deal. Nakamura's back.
Yeah. Yeah. That I thought was interesting that they were like promoting it so heavily that he's back.
Yeah.
And he has the old music, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And he's got a new getup, you know.
Yeah, he's wearing like a robe type of thing.
Yeah. I think it could be Nakamura. I think it could be the
Nakamura
guy.
would be good because it has to be a babyface, but not somebody that you, like you said, need a big build for, which would be either the Cody rematch or Rollins.
Yeah.
If it's Riddle, I probably am quitting for a month. I can't have more, like, again, you talk about Vince and the influence. I can't have more Riddle forced down my throat. I understand that Riddle was part of the storyline before.
Such a disappointing Raw after Mania. All we got back was Riddle.
But also just like you could see it. And maybe I'm just overthinking it here, but there's moments in this last week where you could almost see in Kevin Owens' face, like, I'm like a backup dancer to Riddle all of a sudden.
Really?
Like, you could kind of see it in his face where it's like, why is Riddle here? Like, we just had one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time. We main evented Mania, tag team champions, Sami Zayn, hottest act in wrestling, and like, now Riddle is part of it.
Yeah, like I said, I think we're in a weird holding pattern right now where we're not getting anything great because there's no big show coming up right now.
I agree, but I guess my thing is Riddle can come back, and Riddle can feud with Solo because Solo's the one who took him out.
Yeah,
but Riddle
instead of this 6-man tag.
But Riddle doesn't have to be involved with one of the hottest acts in wrestling just because he just came back. That feels like Vince to me.
I agree.
That feels like Vince.
What's up with Drew McIntyre, man? Just gone.
Yeah, but I think he's turning heel. I don't think he's gone.
Okay, you don't think that this is contract negotiation stuff because you've heard those rumors are out there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors about the contract and that he's unhappy and this and that. But I feel
he's a really good babyface. You think they would turn him?
I think I think it's time.
I loved him when he was the Scottish psychopath. I love that gimmick.
I think it's time. He is a great babyface, but man, it's getting a little stale with the sword and the I don't know. I feel like we've seen this before. I don't remember who it was, but I feel like we've seen this where like wrestlers do this thing where they remove all of their references to WWE and they go black on Twitter and then they come back with just a character change. He's such a star in that company. I just don't see a scenario where he goes to like AEW.
Yeah, and like the stuff that I read, and I don't like reading this kind of stuff because I feel like 99% of it is bullshit. But the stuff that I saw where you see the headline, far apart in contract negotiations. Honestly, that makes no sense considering the money that WWE, they pay their stars and they're going to draw a line in the sand with Drew McIntyre. And it's like, okay, so Drew McIntyre, he must be asking for something crazy. I don't really buy that either. Like, that doesn't seem reasonable. That whole headline, far apart in contract negotiations, really doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, and him in particular, everything he went through, like
Yeah.
being the chosen one, going to the Indies, totally rebuilding himself to get back to this point to be the star that he is now.
Yeah.
I don't see. He seems like a company guy. He seems like he's in a good spot, but it feels like a heel turn. Like, it feels like a heel turn makes
it's better
sense
than him leaving. Yeah. All right.
because
good.
it's not that they don't have a ton. They have plenty of heels, but I think he's great either way. And if they're going to do like a drawn out thing with him and Sheamus, which that seems like that's where they were headed at with Mania, with this whole
Mania. 2 shows ago, I think it was. I don't remember if it was the Raw or the SmackDown, but it's like, yeah, we're clearly the last time we saw McIntyre, it was like, yeah, we're clearly continuing McIntyre and Sheamus.
Right. Someone has to be the heel because so far all of their interactions have been like, we love fighting each other, but then we like having a pint. All right, if we're going to do a program...
No, Brawling Brutes are babyface. If they're going to do it, McIntyre's got to be the heel. Brawling Brutes are babyface.
Yeah, so maybe that feels more like how they get those two guys away from Gunther finally and let them do their own thing.
What did you make of Trish and the heel turn? I mean, Trish obviously is now the one who attacked Lita, right?
Right. I mean, I think it was a very poorly kept secret. And I also think as soon as I saw that Lita got attacked, but they were still defending, I'm like, oh, Trish is turning heel tonight.
I don't like that. How do you still defend them if she's not one of the champions? I don't get that.
But didn't it feel obvious? Like once it was like, oh, somebody had a really good idea. We're going to defend him. Oh, okay. So you're losing and she's going to turn on you. Oh, okay, cool.
So we're going to get that at Backlash. We're going to get Trish versus Becky at Backlash.
Sure.
And I'm good with them losing the titles. I already told you. I hated them having the titles in the first place.
Yeah, but it just continues the women's tag titles being meaningless.
No, but I think they're in a direction where they're trying. Like you got a few girls who are actual teams now. Like that they're trying to do something.
Trying to make them teams, but they're all just thrown together.
Well, but what else are you gonna do? You know,
I mean, Raquel and Liv have been a tag team for like a month.
Mm-hmm. And they're trying Chelsea and Sonya.
But that's just a holdover because it's so clearly that they want it to be Ronda and Shayna, but they're both hurt. I think.
Yep.
Not the men, but by the way, I like Sonya and Chelsea Green.
And you got Natalya and Shotzi. They're a team.
Listen, Chelsea and Sonya actually feel like there's something there as a team. Like they feel like they could do some really cool stuff. Raquel and Liv just feel completely thrown together. Like they just feel like we have these two super popular baby faces with nothing to do at WrestleMania. Let's make them a tag team. And now let's give them the titles and let's see if it clicks. But
and we also saw on television this week where they are teasing Io and Dakota dumping Bayley.
Yeah, and well now Io's the number one contender too.
Yeah.
Which that makes sense. I think it's been time for
it's time for Bayley to turn babyface. I think the crowd wants to cheer her.
Yeah, I think and it's time to get her in like a big something like do something big with her other than, fighting. I don't know. I guess doing her against Becky is a big deal, but it's done now. And honestly, Becky's stuff the last couple months has been very underwhelming to me. I mean,
I think the place we go is Io and Bayley have a thing together. We could do that.
Yeah.
Like if they're going to dump her, there has to be a feud.
Right. But Io could be I guess Io could be a face too. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, that stable it sucks because when they first debuted Damage Control, it felt like something really big.
Exciting.
Felt like something really big was happening.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of fizzled out. I think actually as soon as they put the tag titles on them, it kind of started to fizzle a little bit. But yeah, it's time for Bayley to get her singles run somehow.
So let's talk a little bit about the Latino World Order here.
The best. It's the best.
Have they just dumped the name Legado del Fantasma? That's done? Is it over?
For now, it seems. Yeah, I think what my thought is that if and when they go back to being heels eventually, they can just bring that.
Okay, they're Legado when they're heels. Okay.
I guess. I mean, LWO could be healed too for sure. But I did like that they kept their music because I love their music. It's
that and Roman Reigns' music. It's the best two themes going in WWE today. The Legado del Fantasma entrance is awesome.
Well, Rollins is pretty damn good. Because the crowd. I mean, when you can get the crowd into it like that, it's pretty good. But yes,
I love Escobar's music. I've always loved it. Yeah, very good music.
But it just there's something about it. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed this. There was two different LWO shirts because half of them are Puerto Rican and half of them are Mexican.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So Santos and Ray and one of the other guys were wearing the traditional LWO, and Zelina and one of the other guys were wearing Puerto Rican color
cool.
LWO,
Oh,
which I
that's
thought
cool.
which I think is pretty cool because not all Latinos
Yeah,
are Mexican, so it
that
would
is
be cool.
that is good to point out. All Latinos are not Mexican.
Right. So I thought that was pretty cool. And there's just something about them, the shirts, and even Ray. I don't know if you thought this, but when Ray came out wearing the shirt this week, I was like, he looks younger. He looks like he's in better shape. Like he just looked like old Ray. And it's all very cool. I love seeing them in the ring together, all five of them afterwards. It was all I think that they can keep that going and expand on it.
Dude, it was a couple weeks ago. I think it was the Friday after WrestleMania. The heat on Dominic is incredible. The crowd,
they don't even let him talk.
You couldn't hear him when he was talking on the microphone. The crowd was so loud. That was something, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of blows me away that like between the two of them, you got Ray with the LWO and then Dominic as the top heel. Like that is like the best thing currently. Like Bloodline's obviously still the best overall.
No, but what they're doing with Priest now too, like Priest finally has something going, where it's like Judgment Day's awesome now, man.
And I also thought this on SmackDown, and I think I brought this up a long time ago, but I think we're inching closer to the Judgment Day turning on Finn and Finn going his own way. Because when they walked out and Rio was between Dom and Priest, that looked like the group. That looked like the crew. And I also think Finn needs a big singles. I mean, he's a singles competitor anyways, but I think he needs a bit isn't it crazy that he fought on Raw this week, like a week after that gigantic cut on his head? Like,
yeah, they got it stapled up, no big deal,
but I thought he had a torn quad or something, or torn calf or something too.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Going into Mania, apparently.
Oh, okay.
But
I got one other thing for you on WWE this week.
Yep.
LA Knight at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So over. The crowd wanted him to win it so bad. Crowd booed the hell out of them when he was tossed over. And I thought that was a great sign. Because, all right, Triple H is in charge overall. He obviously knows how good LA Knight is. Now you got the crowd reaction. Okay, good. He does nothing but lose. And then he fought, Xavier Woods this week. I got to be honest. I don't need to see Xavier Woods having a singles push. Like, is anyone asking for the Xavier Woods singles push? And LA Knight loses again this week to Xavier Woods.
The Xavier Woods thing feels a little like, Big E obviously isn't returning to the ring anytime soon. Kofi's still hurt. Let's give this guy one last like singles moment before he's not getting younger.
Neither's LA Knight.
And he's not going to beat Gunther, but it's like, let's give him one little singles, shot. But the LA Knight thing, I go back and forth on whether I'm frustrated about it.
I mean, look, he's on TV every single week, so clearly they care about him.
Again, I'll give you this. This is another Vince thing where you constantly make a guy lose before you give him the big moment, right? So maybe they're just having him lose and lose and lose to win Money in the Bank.
Oh, that'd be something if he won Money in the Bank, huh?
Well, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, well, I mean, he's out. Like, even if he's in Money in the Bank, he never wins singles matches. They're not going to win Money in the Bank. And then you get that moment where it's like,
it'd be pretty huge if he were to win Money in the Bank.
Right. But he's so over. I mean, there's nobody. There are very few singles guys on their own right now that get the react. It's probably him, like Cody, obviously. And like we just talked about, like LWO's getting a big reaction, Sammy and KO, and then LA Knight. I mean,
he gets a monster reaction.
Yep. So while it's like,
I hope we're headed somewhere with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. While it's frustrating that he just keeps losing, it feels like in the very Vince mold of, all right, we're going to give this guy a shot, but like, we're just going to bury him until we decide it's his time.
I mean, the fact that the crowd still gives a shit about him after the Bray Wyatt nonsense, isn't that like the ultimate sign of respect?
Yeah. that shows how good he is. He's
You know?
just, I mean, and also what I do like is, although didn't he just beat Rey Mysterio? I mean, it was not like a few weeks ago before.
He did.
It was before Mania, I think.
It was,
right?
yes.
But it was not clean. There was other stuff going on.
Yes.
But what I do like is that they're putting him in matches on TV against good wrestlers. So it's showing that he's also really good. Like that match with Xavier Woods is a really good match. And he also has his own version of the People's Elbow, which I think is funny.
Yes.
Which it's like a mix between the People's Elbow and the elbow that Dolph used to do.
Yep.
Where
he almost killed Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that one. So it's cool that they're giving him opportunities to show that he's not just like this great talker. He's showing that he can go. That is where I'm holding out hope for, is that they're just like, the moment's coming.
I hope so, man.
We want you guys to be so down on our booking of him that when the moment comes, then you get the big reaction.
I hope so. I mean, Rusev Day was so over. I'm still waiting for the moment.
Yeah,
I'm still here waiting.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the payoff.
Waiting for it in AEW too.
I'm waiting for the payoff for Rusev Day. You got anything else for me on WWE here? Anything we didn't get a chance to hit on yet?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. It'll be it'd be interesting to see. I feel like we're not even building towards Backlash anymore. I feel like we're just building towards Night of Champions.
I feel like we're biding time is what's going on right now.
Yeah, for sure.